Hey, Sean here from Club Fed True Stories. So when I first got indicted, I showed up for my first court appearance. Then I didn't show up for my second one. I went on the run. I ended up homeless. And, watch the video. I turned myself in. I went to a drug program. And when I finished that, the judge gave me 2 years off my sentence. The drug program also qualified me for RDAP, which gave me another year off my sentence at 6 months halfway house. So I did it the hard way, but by being on the run. Well, watch the story. And every federal jurisdiction has a drug program that you can go into, but you don't go on the run first like I did. Ask your lawyer, ask your public defender, and if you do a drug program, the judge takes time off for that. Okay, but watch my video. You'll see. Hi, so this is Sean, Club Fed True Stories. I'm going to tell you all about my experience at Glen Dyer facility. This is a federal jail. Yes, there's county jails, there's city jails, there's these government jails, or they're called federal holding facilities. This was Glen Dyer facility on 6th Street in Oakland. And if you get indicted or you get arrested on federal charges, they will send you to these places. Now, some counties are so small, they'll just throw you in general population in a regular county jail. They might have you segregated in a county jail. They might even throw you in the shoe in a county jail because you're held for federal sentencing until you get sentenced. But Oakland and the Bay Area, such a big place, they actually have federal jails specifically for people facing federal charges. So when I first got indicted, I lived in Antioch, California, and my house had gotten raided a year before. So if you don't know, I did a 52-month sentence for wire fraud. I was falsely filing tax returns. My clients were mainly homeless people, tweaker friends, drug buddies, drug dealers. I got them all fat refunds. Now I owe the government $1.7 million. So I took a little cut, 20% of the refund. They got 80. Now the government wants all the money back. They get to keep their refunds. The government doesn't care. I have to pay it back a little at a time. So like 10% of my income till the day I die, or I win the lottery. Anyways, yeah, that's behind me now. I'm out of prison. I'm on federal probation. So there's different phases. So first you get indicted, then you get sentenced. While before you get sentenced, it's called pretrial. In my case, it was 4 years of pretrial. Then I got sentenced, and I did 2.5 years in Florence Federal Prison Camp. Then I did 5 months in a halfway house. Now I've done a year of federal probation. I got 2 more years to go. The whole thing's 10 years long. So when I got my house raided in, 2013, the landlord evicted me. There was 30 cars on the block, all these black SUVs full of Treasury agents and IRS agents, and the landlord ended evicting me. I got indicted. I remember I had some money to hire a lawyer, and $5,000, and this didn't last long. The lawyer only showed up for 1 court appearance to tell me that you need to show up for this court. They're going to start your proceedings. You have been indicted. Sign a paper, though. It's a bond for $50,000. You don't have to have the money. They're going to trust you because they're the federal government. And then you can walk out of the courtroom and just show up for all your court cases. So I did that. I signed the paper. I walked out, and the attorney said, I'm no longer representing you unless you have money to pay me, which I didn't. Everything I had owned been frozen. I didn't tell the courts that I'd been evicted. I've been sleeping in my car, which broke down, and it was parked somewhere down in Antioch, and then the car got towed. Next thing you know, See this park I'm at? So I'm at a park like this. I'm broke. Well, maybe I had 30 bucks to my name. I got a little backpack with all my belongings in, everything gone. All the friends left. The girlfriend left me. Anybody I thought was my friend, nobody was helping me. I had a cell phone. I had about 10 days left before that was going to go out, and I was supposed to show up for court. I spent my last 20 bucks on some crystal meth, got high at the park, and didn't show up for court. Guess what? I know when I woke up the next day, I had warrants out for me. I didn't show up for court. So I went on the run. I was homeless now, once again, lost everything, didn't care. A week goes by, I decide to call the public defender, find out if there's anything I can do, because I can't live like this. I can't even go to a shelter, because they're going to check your name and run you for warrants, and I'll be picked up. I tried to go get food stamps at the welfare office, and they said, if anybody here has warrants or anybody looking for you, we have to call. And I walked out of the room and I ran. And so I called the public defender, and he answers, and he says, I shouldn't even be talking to you. I can't be talking to you. You're wanted. The marshals are looking for you. And I tell him, well, I'm homeless and I'm in a park and I don't care, but I don't want to go to jail. He goes, well, I can call the marshals right now and they can come pick you up and turn yourself in, or you can just keep hiding. I go, is there anything I can do? He goes, yes. You have a drug problem, you have an alcohol problem. So there's a program that for people on federal pretrial are allowed to go to instead of being in jail. And he says, had you showed up for court, I could have got you in that program. Now you got to turn yourself in to the marshals. You're going to go to the federal jail. Once you're there, I'll start the paperwork to get you into this drug program. So I found my way the next day to the Oakland Federal Building, Twin Towers, evil building there, downtown Oakland City Center, and I turned myself into the marshals. And they immediately handcuffed me, threw me in a holding cell, and then took me over to this Glen Dyer facility. And it's a jail that you don't want to go to. You get out, so they put you in two-man cells. It's strictly lockdown facility. You get out for your meal. You get about a 15-minute sit down on a bench, like this, with a bunch of guys. Eat your tray, go back to your cell. They let you out for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening to take a shower, make a collect phone call if you can, and they have a TV that they put on that you can't hear, and everybody's talking. And there's about 50 people in my little pod. Everybody has two-man cells, and they put me in there with this crazy Russian guy that had all this writing on the walls, all these just devil signs, and just all these, like, I don't know, they were just symbols and stuff, and he'd written them all over the walls, and just, the guy was crazy. He was a youngster, and he said he owed $100 million that he ripped off from the federal government, and this guy was Mr. Conspiracy, crazy. And I was in there with this guy. And I don't know why they let him keep all the symbols on the wall. I mean, you ever see the TV show Supernatural, and they put all those pentagrams and symbols to keep all the devils and the angels and all this? Oh, this guy had every wall was crazy. So, I'm in there, and finally my public defender shows up to talk to me and says, yeah, I started the process to get you in that drug program. They're going to come and interview you, and it's going to be a while before you get in. So the drug program was called Newbridge. It's in Berkeley. It's a 90-day program, but it's attack therapy. So I'll do another video about Newbridge. A lot of miracles happen there, and it was a good program at the end of the day. But if you know anything about attack therapy, I mean, you get nothing. Okay, no phone, no letters, no coffee, no cigarettes, no sugar, no outside contact of any time. They make you shave your head and shave any mustache or beard you got. You got to wear a shirt and tie all day long, and it's a crazy place. But it actually did me some good. But so they came and interviewed me, and then the public defender said, well, there's a problem. They don't want to let you out because you were out on bond and you didn't show up for court. So now you're a risk. Why should they let you out again? So you can just escape from this drug program? Somehow so I had to make appearance to the judge and ask her to please give me a chance. And I don't know what I said to the judge, but I must have sounded sincere, and I told her I really needed help, and she decided to reissue my bond and let me go to this drug program. I had no family that was talking to me. They tried to get some family members to sign papers for me to just release me to the program, and nobody would sign. My mother's side of the family is the only people I knew at the time that I had phone numbers to or ways to get a hold of, and they said, we don't know him, and we don't want to know him, and that was that. So I never felt so alone in the world in all my life. And 3 weeks later, they let me out to that Newbridge program. And I stayed 6 months. It's supposed to be 3 months, but I stayed 6. After that, they let me out to live in a clean and sober living environment, SLE, sober halfway house, whatever you want to call them. And I stayed in those places for another 3 years awaiting sentencing. And you can see the rest of my videos on how all that works. But if you have a family member that's in one of these federal jails, these detention centers, every county or every federal jurisdiction has a drug program that they pay for, that the person awaiting sentencing can go to get out of that federal jail. So you'd have to call their public defender or their lawyer, and there is a way to get out. And it was the beginning of my clean and sober journey of recovery. Although the 4 years on pretrial, I gave them a couple dirty tests, and I actually had to do another drug program. And luckily, I never got thrown back into that jail, because if you violate on pretrial, they'll throw you back into the federal jail, and you don't get credit for the time in there. So I could have been locked up in there for 4 years, got sentenced, and had no credit for the whole 4 years I was in there. But it's been a long journey, you know. I'm not homeless today. I'm not looking at prison today. I'm clean and sober today. I haven't touched drugs in over 4 years. I've got my dad's side of my family back. I even have a car. I'm out here at a park. I'm making videos, and life's so much better. It's so much better, and I've really learned from my mistakes. So I've left my phone number and a bunch of links on the description. If anybody wants to call me, has any questions about white collar crimes, going to a camp, going to a low, pretrial, federal indictment problems, anything, call me. My number's on the description. There's also a whole bunch of links with all kinds of help and questions and sentencing guidelines and character reference letters and samples, and just look at the description underneath there. Anyways, if you can hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell that says all notifications, you get my next videos. Really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks a lot.